Hi, and welcome back to my channel, Learning Biology with Dr. Vanessa. I'm Dr. Vanessa, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the pathway of blood through the heart using this amazing 3D model. I want to send a shout out to Anatomy Warehouse for sending me this model to use in this video. And if you want to get your own heart model, I'm going to drop that link in the description box below, as well as a 15% discount code you can use towards your order. All right, let's take a look at the heart and how blood flows through it. Now, the heart is a pump, and the purpose of the heart is to take deoxygenated blood from the body to the lungs to get oxygenated back to the heart, and then the heart will then pump that oxygenated blood throughout the body. In order to do so, blood has to move through different parts of the heart. The first part of the heart that blood is going to come into is this area right here called the right atrium. So blood is going to flow from the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava into the right atrium. Now this blood is deoxygenated and it's coming from all over the body. Since the heart is a pump, it is pumping that blood through the heart, eventually to the lungs, but the heart itself also needs its own blood supply in order for those tissues to survive and continue to work. So deoxygenated blood from the heart goes into the right atrium from the coronary sinuses, which are coronary veins that all converge into this area called the coronary sinus, and that also goes into the right atrium. So blood enters into the right atrium from that superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the coronary sinuses. From the right atrium, it's going to pass through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and then from the right ventricle, it's going to pass through the pulmonary semilunar valve into the pulmonary trunk, and the pulmonary trunk is an artery that is going to carry blood to the lungs. In the lungs, the blood gets oxygenated and it returns back to the left side of the heart through these vessels called pulmonary veins. So the pulmonary veins are going to bring blood into the left atrium. From the left atrium, it's going to pass through the bicuspid or mitral valve and then into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, blood is going to pass through the aortic semilunar valve into the aorta, where it's going to pump blood throughout the body. So the heart is taking the blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, getting oxygenated, sending it back to the left side of the heart, and then that oxygenated blood is going throughout the body so that it can reach all the cells and tissues of the body. A couple things you'll notice is that the right side of the heart, if we look at the ventricle of the right side of the heart, it's much thinner than the left side of the heart. And this is because the right side of the heart is just pumping blood to the lungs. It doesn't have to overcome a huge pressure system. But the left side of the heart is going to pump blood into the aorta and through the rest of the body. So there's a lot more pressure in the aorta that the left ventricle has to overcome. It's working a lot harder. And so that's why you'll notice in models, if you ever dissect a heart, that the left ventricle is much thicker than the right ventricle. The other thing with the heart is that we know that arteries take blood away from the heart, and that blood is usually oxygenated, while veins bring blood back to the heart, and that blood is usually deoxygenated. In the heart, we have a little bit of a flip with a couple vessels because the heart is sending blood to the lungs to get oxygenated. So this area right here is the pulmonary trunk, which is an artery because it's taking blood away from the heart. But this is an exception to our artery rule because the blood in the pulmonary trunk or pulmonary artery is deoxygenated. So this is an artery that is carrying deoxygenated blood. Remember, arteries usually carry oxygenated blood. The other exception to the rule is when we come back from the lungs in through the pulmonary veins. Veins bring blood back towards the heart, so it's going into the left atrium from this area. These veins, though, are carrying oxygenated blood because it just came from the heart. So these are two exceptions to our rules of arteries and veins, and arteries carrying oxygenated blood, veins carrying deoxygenated blood. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that this model helped to show you the pathway of blood through the heart. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure to put them in the comment box below. Thank you.